Good morning, and welcome to my Tireside chat. It is Friday, May 31st, 2024. I'm on my way to work. It's been a couple weeks, I think, since I made one of these videos. I just had a wild hair and thought I would make one. Yeah, lots happened this week, just like every week. Yeah, the past 7 days. Yeah, see, last weekend was Memorial Weekend, which meant it was Danielle's birthday and it was our anniversary. We had a really nice get together with some friends on Sunday. We actually had people over at the house, which is like a pre-COVID thing to do. I know, man, that word COVID doesn't come up so much anymore. It's weird. It's been, here we are, 2024, and it's kind of an abstract thought anymore, it feels like. But yeah, just getting to the point. Well, let's have some friends over to the house and have a party. Mainly not because it's not weird because you're like afraid of catching a disease. It's just weird because we got so accustomed to going home and hanging out by ourselves and watching TV all the time, which I think that was a grand societal change that maybe isn't as acknowledged as it should be anymore. I mean, it was apparent. A lot of people were talking about that while it was happening. The fact that people don't go over to each other's houses anymore. I mean, that was definitely the case during COVID when there was a higher probability of getting sick and couldn't gather in public places and whatnot. But then even afterwards, it's like we all got used to that. I mean, I did, like, during COVID, like I was still working in the office like 4 hours a day, and we were going into the office in shifts, so it was less condensed with people. But I got used to just coming home and then just hanging out with the family and watching TV, watching Netflix or whatever, Stranger Things. Actually, it's funny because like during the day, because I would go to work in the mornings. I'm going off on a tangent here, but have you met me? I would go to work in the mornings and then I'd come home at like noon, and every afternoon, but when I get home, Danielle would be watching TV, and it was always Gilmore Girls, and then Rachel Ray was later in the afternoon. Who was before that? Oh, Ellen. It was the Ellen DeGeneres show, and then Rachel Ray. That was what was always on. I'd be working at my desk in the living room while that was happening, and she was watching those. So, and I think that's when I first started to appreciate Gilmore Girls as like one of the greatest shows ever. It really is. Such excellent writing on that show, and great characters. It was fantastic. But yeah, it's another one of those. It was like that, and then what else? I think that's when we got into like 90 Day Fiance too, because Danielle would be watching that, and I'm like, oh, I hate reality TV shows, and it would just be there in the background, and I kind of started paying attention to it. I'm like, these people are idiots. What are they gonna do next? Like, they're the idiots or they're crazy, and what are they doing? It was just like, yeah. And ever since then, I've been infatuated with that show too. We watch that regularly, every new one that comes out. And, yeah, I hate reality TV and everything it stands for, but I love that show. Anyhow, all that to say, we get back to what was I originally talking about. Yeah, it's been a busy week. Yeah, it was our 6th anniversary on Monday, 27th of May. What did we had there was the Fresno High block party, I guess, is that what it's called? It's right there by Fresno High, which is really cool. They have a bunch of food trucks and vendors, that whole thing. Ray was at work, but me and that around noon or so. Had, what food truck was it? Oh, it was called Comfy, I think, and it was just like comfort food. I hadn't seen that one, but it's got like basically like the painting of the California license plate background on the side, but it says Comfy like in license plate letters. Yeah, it was really good. They had pulled pork and mac, like a pig mac, but I was expecting it to be like a sandwich, like how Meltdown Bistro does it, which is amazing. Oh my god, it's amazing. But this was just like their homemade mac and cheese with pulled pork and barbecue sauce, and Dean was like blown away because like those are two of his favorite things: pulled pork, any type of pulled pork, anywhere you can find it, he's signed on. Like, yeah. But then on top of mac and cheese, he's like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever had. But he had that. What did Danielle and I get? Oh, from that same truck, we got a, it was a, what do you call that? Grilled sourdough burger. That was really good too, and tater tots, and they were like homemade tater tots, and they were like crispy, and we just split it, and that was fine. It was fine. And then we got, did we get? Yes, and then there was a Ampersand, the ice cream place, which we had a table. Amazingly, I found a table for 3 people right outside of Ampersand on the corner there. Then after we were done, we were walking back to the car. It was warm. It was, it was like 90, 91 that day. But we were walking back to the car, and what's this guy doing here? But the Ampersand had their own food truck, which was it was not a food truck, not like a traditional one. It was one of those Airstreams, like the silver trailer, the cool-looking, sleek silver trailer. They were selling ice cream out of that, and we just got a scoop. But Dean got the Madagascar vanilla, and we got the honeycomb, and that's one of their staples. Delicious. And then we went to dinner for our anniversary. We went to Saison, which is over on Willow and Shepherd. Technically that's Clovis. I forget. I think we talked about that. So yeah, we're in Clovis. It's right on the border, if it is, if I'm correct. But they're like an upscale, like almost. Danielle compared it to, I forget the name of the place, like the Michelin star rated restaurant that her and her mom and Chuck and Alana went to in Mexico City when they were in Mexico City last year or the year before. Maybe it's been 2 years. A similar kind of food, really like fancy Mexican dishes. We had and not so Mexican dishes. Like we just went in, and you could just go and just order appetizers and share them. And it wasn't bad. We wound up getting 4 appetizers and just sparkling water. And big plus for me, the busser comes around with a pitcher of water and a pitcher of sparkling water. It's like, which one do you want? Like, wow. That's a nice place when they do that. They just offer it. It's like sparkling and some wine, please. And yeah, we got a wedge salad, which does not look like what you would expect a wedge salad to look like, but it was beautiful and delicious. And the cheese was really good. The dressing was really good. Everything was delicious. Then we got the taquitos, which was like 3 of them covered in green chili sauce. Not spicy, but yeah, with chicken. And what was the third thing we got? I'm not remembering. What was the third dish? So we got that. The fourth one we got was sliced so thin it was like transparent. It was beautiful. Anyways, so that was a nice dinner, and all in all, like out the door, it was like $65 before tax, and then I gave it the waitress nice tip. But that was nice. And then Monday I stayed home from work because after, long story, but I think my allergies were killing me. And also I realized I think I need to watch my salt intake, because anything that causes inflammation, internal inflammation, that's when I get, I know I've probably talked about this a million times before and you're sick of hearing it, but that's when I get like cloudy headed and tired and I just don't want to get off the couch. And that's how I was pretty much Monday and Tuesday. Then I went to work on Wednesday. I've got so much stuff to do at work. And I realize a lot of this stuff that I have to do, I wind up putting artificial timelines on myself. What's going on with this guy on the motorcycle in front of me? Anyways, I've got a lot of stuff to do at work. There's a lot going on. My new coworker that I hired, Shaylin, has been fantastic. You may remember me mentioning her from before, when I first started making these videos, when I was working at Sebastian still. I worked with her there, and then I quit Sebastian, and she continued working there for a year until I was able to hire her to come on work with me. I brought her over. Yeah, she's great. And so she's just been like a steamroller, man. She's like taking on like, oh, this needs to be fixed. I'm gonna like start this project and get it done, and I'm gonna get this done. And she's hardworking and motivated and really smart. And yeah, even my boss said that was a great hire. Thank you for bringing her on. I'm like, yeah, she's very ambitious. Yeah, it's been good. So thankfully she's been covering for me a lot while I've been out. So that was, yeah, because I was out Tuesday and I came to work Wednesday, and Wednesday was good. And then I had been working for like 6 or 8 weeks to try to get myself prescribed medication for ADHD. It's something I've been wanting to try out for a long time. And I had to jump through a bunch of hoops because I saw a cardiologist last year, and I ran through a whole gamut of tests, and somewhere in those tests, well, it's another long story, but even though I was basically told last year that my heart looked great, that cardiologist that I saw has since passed away. His Tesla killed him and his wife. If you're in Fresno, you might remember this being on the news. It was Dr. Vyas. Nice guy. I think he was, it's like my age, in his mid-40s or something. And yeah, was driving westbound down Shepherd in his Tesla with his wife, coming back from a party or something at night, or some social event, and yeah, it accelerated out of control, and they slammed into a tree at 100 miles an hour or more. So yeah, crazy. Someone I know, someone I'd met, died in a Tesla malfunction. Those things, yeah, I don't know. You won't catch me. Sorry, Tim. My buddy Tim has a Tesla, and he loves it. And my sister-in-law has a Tesla, and she loves it. I don't know how much I trust them. I like my old manually controlled, only semi-computerized Honda here. I even opted for the 2015 model instead of a 2016 or 17 because the the speedometer is still, it's not the digital speedometer, it's still an analog with a needle that goes up and down. And I was like, thinking, that's one more thing that can break or go wrong. Like, I don't trust computers. So, anyways, I had a new cardiologist, and the guy came in and he was like, let me back up a second. So I had to call the cardiologist's office and tell them that I needed to get clearance from them in order to be prescribed ADHD medication like Adderall. And so that was the basis for which I went in, and when the doctor saw me, the cardiologist saw me, the new one, he was kind of antagonistic towards me, and it was like, well, what did they tell you about your test results last year? And I'm like, I thought that everything was fine. I didn't really have anything to worry about. He's like, well, there were abnormalities, and I'm going to need to send you in for additional testing. I'm like, oh, okay. And why did you stop? You're not taking your statins anymore? I'm like, no. So where's your cholesterol levels? Have you been tested? It says you haven't been tested in years. I'm like, no, that's not true. I got tested last year. And I get my cholesterol tested at least once a year, if not every 6 months. Well, if it's too high, if it's in the 280s, that's way too high, and we need to get you back on statins and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. And I told him, I was like, he was going to leave, and I said, well, excuse me, the whole reason I came in here was, I'm looking to get treated for ADHD, and they want to get clearance to put me on Adderall. He's like, well, I wouldn't prescribe that to anybody. I've seen what that can do to the heart, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, fine. I'm not trying to get pills. I don't know, I'm just going through the system here. Yeah. Anyways, I went to, he had me do a high contrast CT scan, which the only place to do that is at Fresno Community downtown. I went and did that, scheduled that, and they had a doctor on site as I was doing the test, and the doctor on site said, as far as I can tell, watching the test, everything looks good. I don't see any problems. So the computer's going to do some additional analysis on the imaging, and you'll get the test results in a couple days, and then you can send it to your primary care physician, and so that came back squeaky clean, which was refreshing anyways. I'm still glad I did that, because I guess that's the best analysis that you can get of your heart, because they get a really clear picture of your arteries and any calcium buildup and anything. And there was, according to my report, there was no calcium, no hardening of the arteries. They're all the right size they should be. It looks perfect. So that was very refreshing anyways. And then I had scheduled for a follow-up visit with the cardiologist. And I got a call from his office a couple days later, and they just said, oh, you know what, don't bother coming in. We can just cancel your appointment. We just want to tell you over the phone everything looks fine, and don't worry about it. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And they didn't say anything about oh, you need to make sure you get back on statins, because he was harassing me about it. So I went and looked it up, and according to the American Medical Association and all sorts of doctor associations, as long as your cholesterol can be high, as long as there's no signs of calcium buildup or anything in your heart, then there's no reason for you to take statins. And I verified that with the doctor I was seeing about ADHD, which is I just had virtual visits with her. Because I've been keeping her abreast of this whole situation as it's been unfolding, and she, I had messaged her everything that had happened, and when I talked to her, I had a visit with her on Wednesday, and she's like, and I also told her, I mentioned that when I was on statins, for a year or so, my cholesterol had come down, but at the time I had gone to see a doctor at Kaiser and was doing tests there, and he said my cholesterol looked better, but my A1C was really high. And he's like, yeah, statins will do that. You're pre-diabetic now. And I go, great. So the doctor I saw on Wednesday, my online doctor, I told her all this, and she's like, you don't need to take statins. You're fine. So that's at least refreshing. So she prescribed me Strattera, which we agreed, and I talked with my primary care physician, Dr. Gazoujian, too. This whole thing is about medical stuff, sorry. And because Strattera is listed by the FDA as not being a stimulant like Adderall is. And I was like, that's great. Like, I don't want to be on stimulants if I can help it, and it works. I took it yesterday. It totally felt like I was on speed, and I did not like it at all. It just ruined my whole day. And it had like social anxiety really bad, couldn't urinate, all sorts of side effects. It was awful. And I couldn't work yesterday, and I still had to take Dean to his doctor's appointment at Valley Children's to follow up for his thing with his fingers that got slammed in the door. It was awful. And then I kept like sleeping, and then like my heart rate was high. It was just messed up. And I went to bed last night at like 9:30, and I slept like almost 7 hours last night, which is amazing for me. Dude, how far do you want to back up your car? You're gonna like hit me. Anyways, well, I'm at work. I got to get inside. But doing much better today. It's Friday. I got a lot to do. So, happy Friday, everyone. Have a good one.